What's going on, eaters and feeders? This episode is actually episode number 2 in a two-part series. So I want to make sure you've checked out the first episode before we get into it. Now, we are discussing taking your restaurant, your catering company, your cafe, or whatever food business you already have, and either turning it into a meal prep business or adding a meal prep business to your existing business. Why would we do this? How would we do this? Well, that's exactly what we are discussing. I want to make sure you've checked out both episodes. So again, check out number 1 if you haven't done so already. And we're going to continue on with the second half right now. But before we do that, I want to make sure you have subscribed. You got those alert notifications on so you don't miss out on any of my new content, and that you check out the links in the show notes. All the free stuff, all the great stuff, everything that's going to help you along your journey is in the notes, in the links, in the notes, and also at my website, mealprepbiz101.com. Consulting, free software, private group, free ebook, boot camps, all sorts of great stuff. Check it out. And now let's get into the episode.
Welcome to our channel where we go behind the scenes for meal plan company Fit Food Fresh and other local businesses across South Florida. Make sure you hit the subscribe and alerts so you never miss a video, and hit us with any questions or suggestions.
Now, another thing you're going to have to think about is delivery is going to change. When you're paying somebody to pick up one item and deliver it to somebody like through Uber Eats or Grubhub, the reason they can't go as far is because it doesn't make sense to be able to deliver, a pizza or something 50 miles away. There's no way you'd be able to pay, you wouldn't be able to justify buying food that far away when it costs that much to ship it to you. You would just get pizza down the street, right? Well, the reason that the delivery actually becomes so much more affordable with the meal prep is it's more efficient. You're not sending one person out to one customer going from the restaurant to their house with, one meal. The average person is buying 10 meals a week. Okay, so right there, the ticket is much more significant. Those deliveries aren't going out one at a time. They'll be, again, truncated. So you'll have somebody going out with 24 deliveries. It'll take them several hours to do it, but it's also being done with our model. We do it in the dead of night. Most of the deliveries are done between midnight and 6 a.m. We're delivering it to doorsteps on cooler bags or in cooler bags on ice, keeping it nice and cold. People wake up, the food's already there. You don't have to worry about the delivery running late or anything like that. I mean, sometimes you do, but more often than not, you're not going to have to worry about people waiting for their dinner to come because they're about to eat it. They get really impatient. That's when you start getting Yelp complaints and everything else. So this business model, while it does seem similar to what you might be doing, you feel like you're doing something similar with Uber Eats and Grubhub, and by all means, keep doing that. But what else is beautiful is by making this more efficient and being able to extend the service area, you're opening yourself up to a potential of more income. You're reducing your expenses, as I mentioned before, between the labor. You're also squeezing more out of the existing money that you're paying out. You're going to pay rent this month, right? What if you could bring in more revenue to offset that rent? That's what's beautiful about this, and you're already doing a lot of the hard part. There's people who have never. I wasn't from the food industry. My business partner and I, aside from me bartending and him being a waiter when we were in our 20s, no experience in the food industry. We had no connections. We had no funding. I still don't know how to cook. I wasn't a personal trainer. I wasn't a nutritionist. You have so many advantages. If I'm talking to the people who are watching this who are already in the food business, who either already know how to cook or you already know how to run a food business and purchase food and write menus, all this stuff. This is super intimidating to anybody else getting into this. You have a huge advantage, right? Now, let's talk about some of the ways let me give you some actionables. How are you going to do this? How is this, extra business just going to plop on nice and neat? And how are you going to have, a turnkey solution? Well, number one, I've got other videos that do walkthroughs on the software and all the features, but there's a software program that I am getting my followers on right now. I've got a handful of people in what I call a guinea pig group who are getting onto this software, and they'll be the first of my followers to be using this software, and it basically runs the entire business. Not only do they have a module that will also help you from the restaurant end, which we'll discuss, that's got to be a whole nother series of videos, but there's a turnkey plug and play system ready to go to handle everything with meal prep. Taking the orders, it gives you an e-commerce online menu where you put your menu up, you write the menu, you figure out what you want, you throw it up on there, and you'll have a turnkey website from which people can log in, order, do all that. You can have it branded so it looks like your existing website, has your restaurant name, all that other stuff. And you can also get an app. So if you want to do the app route, it has that as well. The software is, you're going to love this. It's actually free. After enrollment, 100% free, month to month, no licensing fee. And like I said, it'll handle everything that you'll need. It's the single most advanced software for the meal prep business. And like I said, I've got a bunch of videos on it, so I'm not going to go into all of that. But that is the most crucial thing. It's so much harder without this. And this is a new software. We're literally the first people getting on it. So this is going to revolutionize the meal prep industry. It's going to make it super simple for everybody else to get into it. And if you're already making the food, this is, I can't stress that enough. Now, another thing I would do is market to the people you already have. Meal preps are easy because everybody eats, everybody wants to save time, everybody wants to make, save money. And it doesn't even have to be a healthy meal prep, but you're really selling convenience. If you make it healthy as well, and this will lead to my next point, you can hit a couple of different value areas to get people onto your program and let people who are already walking into your business, or already doing pickup, or already have a relationship, or already following you on social media, let them know that you've got a meal prep company. Now, what I'm going to go into now might shock you. You don't have to use the same name in the meal prep company. Just like, some restaurants are actually setting up ghost kitchen concepts out of their kitchen. Instead of renting a shared space or a commissary, these restaurants already have a kitchen, so they're able to run a completely different menu with a completely different brand and go through Uber Eats and Grubhub. Now, what sucks about that is Uber Eats, Grubhub, those guys take a big chunk of your food revenue, so it's not as profitable to be using them. And what's beautiful about the meal prep business is, you get the residuals, you get the customer's information, you're able to remarket to them instead of having to continuously pay ads. You can send them texts and emails and automate all this stuff through that software that I mentioned before. But it all starts with letting your customers know, your existing relationships know what you're going to be doing. So you should have a turnkey audience ready to go out the gate. And now you can actually explore a little bit. You could have some of the stuff from your existing menu, but you can make a completely different menu if you want to. You can go a different theme. You can rotate the menu, have fun with it. That's what's beautiful about it. And some people might look at it as a bit intimidating because you are going to have people eating, like I said, an average of 10 meals a week with you. They're going to come back every week, which is great. But you also want to be able to introduce some novelty. So the stuff that you're already making in your restaurant, if you got some winners, go ahead and put it on there. Even if it's not healthy stuff, it could be, and I've got another video on, I got a couple videos on how to, design a menu. So check that stuff out as well. Check out my other videos and subscribe if you haven't. This is a great reminder. Subscribe. Links below are golden. So definitely check those out. But you can design your menu very easily by just going with the familiar stuff you know is working, some other stuff you want to try, and make it adaptable. So you're always changing it for what is selling, getting rid of the stuff that's not popular. It's not as hard as you may think it's going to be. All right, I assure you it's very easy. If I could figure it out, if we were able to figure it out without knowing what we were doing, I assure you, you're probably going to be able to be in a position to blow us out of the water, honestly. And one last tip would be tapping into your professional network. Now, obviously your customers would be interested in doing this, but don't forget, everyone eats. Everybody, as I mentioned before, everybody wants to save time. Everyone wants to save money. If you go the health route, that's another value add, but let your network know what you're doing. Work on really getting into a grassroots. Unless you're going national, there's really no need to get into heavy marketing. You don't have to pay a lot. Just get the word out, do some basic social media, do some branding maybe, and then if you have an existing social media following, point to your new project. Every time somebody buys a meal from you, make a flyer that maybe a little menu handout, or maybe not. If you've got a menu that changes, then don't, but give them all the information they need to join your meal prep company. Maybe you want to entice them with a special offer. And what's beautiful about you having those two businesses is now you can just point people back and forth. People on the meal prep company, you point them to your restaurant, give them some special coupons or something to come in and patronize your restaurant. The people who are going to the restaurant, like I said, that's a constant, look at that as the top of the funnel for your leads, and point all those people into the meal prep subscription. And I can't stress this enough, the residual that you will be able to just tap into and have that nice flow of income that you can then build upon is going to be great. When it's snowing, when it's raining, as long as you're able to cook, these people are going to want it. Even when there's a hurricane, we're down here in South Florida, restaurants have to close down for the hurricane. We make all the food in advance. More people come to us because they don't want to have to deal with everything potentially being closed down. They'll throw some meals in the freezer, and if they lose power, they still got something to eat. Obviously their menu selections are going to be a bit different. We try to change the menu accordingly, but you can basically, as I mentioned before, economy proof, shutdown proof. It takes a lot more to shut down to really close the meal prep's progress, because as I mentioned in the beginning, I've seen companies growing through this entire event that we've got going on. And I can't say that for any of my friends with restaurants, unfortunately. Great guys, really, really smart. They've been at it a long time. They've got great businesses. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. We all know it's a tough business to stick around in. It was tough before this. I know I've got plenty of friends who are restaurateurs, plenty of friends. Catering companies is a different story. Caterers normally make pretty decent money, but the restaurants were already, operating on some thin margins, and this has been devastating. There's a lot of restaurants around here that will never open again. This is something that if I get it into your minds fast enough and you take action fast enough, you can completely change the trajectory of where things are heading. And on the other side of this, why would you want to shut this down? This is just another thing that you could expand upon. If it gets big enough, go rent some industrial space, build out a kitchen where the rent is super cheap. You're not having to pay for retail, and you'll have this separate business that will be thriving, and it'll be beautiful, because when the economy goes up, it's only going to get better. There's never going to be a point in time where people are going to say, as much as you think Plated and Blue Apron kind of got people into cooking, the reality of it is people don't have that time. It sounds like a great idea, but it's a novelty. You're going to get a Plated or Blue Apron kit. You're going to do it once, twice, maybe 3 times. And everyone I know who's been on it, the same story is, after I had 3 months worth of their meals in my fridge or my freezer going bad because I didn't have the time to cook, I actually realized it was an inconvenience and I canceled it. Getting food this way makes it so difficult to leave that I think you guys will really appreciate the residual, the LTV, and the reoccurring business that you're going to be able to generate easily just by adding this service to what you're already doing and letting people know that you're doing it. All right, I think I stated my case. If you guys have any questions about converting your business over to meal prep or adding that in conjunction with what you're already doing, I'd be happy to help you out. Check out my website. Check out the links below. Again, subscribe, alerts, like, dislike, comments, whatever. But the links in my website are golden. I've got a private group, I've got consulting, I've got free boot camps, I've got a free ebook, I've got a ton of free resources. The software is phenomenal. Check out the videos on that as well. Again, there's nothing. It's free. $3 monthly. It's zero. It's a no-brainer. And like I said, it's the closest thing to a business in a box. If you've got the physical location and the bodies, you get the food. This does everything else pretty much. So check out all that, and thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to helping you grow as a business, as an entrepreneur, and as an individual. Have a great day.